Hello, nerds! You are tuned in to a clip from the most recent stream over on the main channel, Generally Nerdy. This is Nerd News Clips, hence clip, but this is a little bit unique because we are technically right now in the off season, which means I do live shows, so I have to clip from the live show, so makes these clips a little bit more unstructured and kind of longer form than normal. But I appreciate you tuning in. If you are interested in the rest of the stream, then again, go check out the main channel, Generally Nerdy. Until then, enjoy the clip. We're gonna do one more here. We're gonna go to Bounding Comics, and then we're gonna come back to Cosmic Book, because the big one in Cosmic Book we have left is Goonies and Gremlins. So, Resident Evil reboot in the works from Barbarian filmmaker. This is another one, Chris. I'm gonna ask for your opinion on, because super interested to see. Did you see Barbarian? Also, what did you think of Barbarian? Because that was unexpected. I wouldn't say it was necessarily the best horror I've seen in a while, or in a long time. It was good. It was better than I think most, especially because it was a bit of a subversion of your expectations in general. So yeah, but we do have this this news piece, so let's get into it. The Resident Evil franchise getting a fresh start, with filmmaker Zach Krieger set to write and direct new reboot. It's reported a heated bidding war is currently underway among major studios, including Warner Brothers and Netflix. And Netflix put out that really super shoddy Resident Evil series that's focused on Wesker, which was really dumb. Like, I really dig the actor they got to play him, but like, it was still a race swap version of Wesker, and like, Wesker's the bad guy. Anyway, Krieger, known for his work in the 2022 horror hit Barbarian, has quickly made a name for himself as a leading voice in modern horror. His upcoming project, Weapons, has generated significant buzz and also went through a bidding war, ultimately ending up at Warner Brothers. Weapons is set to star Josh Brolin and Julia Garner, described as an interrelated multi-story horror epic. Whoa, what? About disappearance of high school students in a small town. That is what? None of that adds up in my head. All right, so Josh Brolin and Julia Garner in a movie together. Okay. Described as an interrelated multi-story horror epic. So the multiple stories are interrelated, and it's a horror epic? Like, about disappearances of high school students in a small town. This is the word that's really throwing me off here. Epic. How do you do an epic story about disappearances of high school students in a small town that is also multi-layered with the subplots, and have all of them? That sounds very strange. We're going to have to look into that in a future date. Who is behind the Resident Evil reboot? Blah, blah, blah. In addition to Krieger, the reboot is produced by Constantine Film, the longtime rights holder of Resident Evil, along with PlayStation Productions. Shay Hatton, whose credits include John Wick Chapter 4 and Army of the Dead, is co-writing the script. Oh, that's cool. Get a little bit of a return to the Army of the Dead staff. I'm down for that. Of note is that this reboot marks a departure from the 6 previous films starring Mila Jovovich, as well as the 2021 origin movie Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, which was also not very good. It was really mediocre to bad. While those films blended horror, sci-fi, and action, Krieger's version is said to revamp the franchise and return things to the horror roots that games are known for, aiming to be more faithful to the original Capcom video games. Super, super awesome. All right, like I said, we're going to jump from there. We're going to go talk about Toxic Avenger for just a moment. So, the ongoing saga of the Toxic Avenger and the remake. Streaming and entertainment company Cineverse is releasing the Toxic Avenger remake in theaters later this year, and it will be unrated. So, interesting set of words all put together in a row. We are back. Citizens of Tromaville, when all hope seemed lost from the reimagining of our favorite superhero, the Toxic Avenger Cineverse, announced last Tuesday that they will be releasing the film theatrically later this year. Excuse me. And it will be unrated, which means probably going to be hard to find a theater that is actually carrying this movie, just because that usually carries a stigma that most theater companies don't want to deal with. Continuing on, the highly anticipated movie premiered at the opening of 2023 Fantastic Fest and Beyond Fest that same year before taking the mop overseas to wipe the floor with 56 Sitges Film Festival in Spain. Is that what that is, Sitges? And then dead silence after that. Last July, movie producer Alan Masnick announced on X that the film had been deemed unreleasable by people who obviously think they know better, and has been floating in limbo ever since. Director Macon Blair, I don't feel at home in this world anymore, narrowly avoided the fate of having his sophomore feature flung into the much-feared vault of films that failed to find distribution and collect dust for all eternity, but the independent studio would be his hero of the day. I am beyond grateful to the team behind Toxic Avenger, who were so supportive and steady-handed as we search for the perfect distribution partner for our film, said Blair in a statement via Variety. It's so cool that folks have the chance to see this in theaters. I fully agree. It's a fun, rowdy movie you want to see with a crowd. Mutant hero smashes bad guy with a mop. Perfect entertainment for the whole family. Yeah, I don't know about that last bit, but yeah, sure. His statement continued, our goal was always to preserve the heart and spirit of the original Toxie, who was seared into my brain at a very young age, and try to make something that Troma fans would dig, and at the same time do something with the character that feels fresh. What exactly that is still remains to be seen by most people because we have not seen the movie yet. It ends. Lloyd and Michael at Troma have been a blast to work with. Absolutely everyone at Legendary are stars, and I can't wait to start working with the champs at Cineverse to bring this version of Toxie to fans, new and old. So yeah, we're getting the Toxic Avenger in theaters this year. Super awesome. All right. The big one, the biggie, the piece that we must discuss, must. Goonies and Gremlins movies, both in the works. Goonies 2, Gremlins 3. It is learned that Warner Brothers is developing new movies for both Goonies and Gremlins. In its report about its upcoming 2025 slate, Deadline reports on the Warner Brothers franchise hopes down the road, which include Christopher Columbus directing a new Gremlins movie. Regarding Goonies, it is said that a treatment is currently underway. So this is not going in the face of previous rumors that I have debunked, talking about the Goonies sequel, because this sequel doesn't fully exist yet. Like, there's no script for it. They're currently working on a treatment. They don't even have the idea of where this is going. So when we got previous statements from actors involved with the original movie saying that they're not working on a movie, there is no movie, so on and so forth, they were not lying either, because this is still at the treatment level. So pre-production, basically. The quote says, franchise hopes abound down the road with Lord of the Rings, Hunt for Gollum, Practical Magic 2, DC's Clayface, and Supergirl, Drew Goddard's incoming script for a new Matrix, which, oh man, the last one was a little bit of a stretch. Like, I still dug it, but yeah, you better do something to breathe new life in that franchise, baby. New Gremlins from Chris Columbus and Goonies treats. So again, not even there's no names even attached to the Goonies just yet. What's going on with Gremlins? Last we saw of Gremlins, it was the prequel animated series that lasted for 2 seasons with Secrets of the Mogwai and The Wild Batch. On the live-action side of things, Gremlins 2, the new batch, was released in 1990. The original Gremlins movie was released in 1984. So a lot has changed in the last 40 years. And what is known about Goonies 2? Sequel to Goonies has been rumored for years, but there's finally some official word, though it's still far from confirmed. Currently, only a treatment exists for Goonies 2, which means the project is far from greenlit. Emphasis on project is far from greenlit. Reason that Corey Feldman and Martha Plimpton, who played Mouth and Steph in the original film, stated Goonies 2 isn't happening. Again, they weren't lying because at the time that they made those comments, this did not exist. Given that there's only a treatment, it's likely none of the original actors have been contacted about the potential sequel. No shit. Rumors suggest the original cast members are expected to return with the sequel, likely focusing on their kids embarking on a new adventure. The original cast includes Josh Brolin, Sean Astin, Jeff Cohen, Cary Green, and Ki Hugh Kwan. The Goonies is also back in theaters Sunday and Monday for the film's 40th anniversary. So, was that last week? When was this written? The 15th? Yeah, that was this past Sunday and Monday, apparently. Well, damn. Yeah, I think that is the entire article. So let's go check the deadline. I think it might just be that quote. That might be the only... Yeah, it looks like that's what it is. Bubba Dubba 2025 Superman James Gunn blast off into DC studio arguably sources tell us that the duo so this is even still technically rumor. Am I reading this right? Per latest update, figures from Deadline's Nancy summer 2022. Come on, let's get to the good stuff. $90 million plus period horror title from Ryan Coogler in Sinners. $80 million Maggie Gyllenhaal steampunk horror movie The Bride. Most expensive Paul Thomas Anderson movie ever with his untitled Leonardo DiCaprio movie. Price tag between 100 and 140 million. Interesting. Yeah, this is a lot more detailed than I anticipated. Franchise hopes abound. There we go. So, Lord of the Rings, Hunt for Gollum, Practical Magic 2, DC's Clayface, and Supergirl, Drew Goddard's incoming script for a new Matrix, new Gremlins movie from Christopher Columbus, and a Goonies treatment. While the massive launch of so that is literally all it is. They have expectations that James Gunn's Superman will be the Deadpool and Wolverine for DC. Yeah, not bloody likely, my friend. It will be huge. It will probably not be as good, but it will be better than the last Superman we got. So that's at least a step up. Yeah, that is literally all they say about Goonies and Gremlins. So they're just talking about all the fired executives over at Warner Brothers because things aren't working, and they actually like to try and change stuff to make it better. So yeah, that's that. I think we have another thing that kind of goes... Yes. So continuing down the path of the past hits hard. This is a gaming piece. We have Sega set to bring back another dormant franchise, files trademark for Echo the Dolphin. In a move that could send waves across oceans, Sega has trademarked Echo the Dolphin, which reignites interest in the classic franchise. The batch of trademarks span from video game software and entertainment services to toys and other merchandise. It is unclear what Sega has in mind with Echo the Dolphin, but it's important to note the last video in the last video game in the cult classic franchise came out in 2000. Wow, I didn't even know there was one that recent, honestly. For those unfamiliar, while the game is about a dolphin named Echo, it is one of the wildest premises ever created in gaming. What starts as a simple story of a dolphin searching for his missing pod becomes a cosmic adventure. Seeking answers, he meets Big Blue, an ancient and wise blue whale. Big Blue directs him to the asteroid, Earth's oldest life form, who points our hero to the ancient sunken city of Atlanta. The story goes... Atlantis, rather. Oh, wow. Futurama moment there. The story goes further in cliche and mystery as Echo and then discovers an ancient alien race called the Vortex, which harvests Earth's oceans every 500 years to sustain their own planet. A mix of time travel, unique character design, ancient mysteries, and more make Echo the Dolphin one of the game's most unique stories. Makes one of gaming's most unique stories. Let's get a little bit of proofreading in here, shall we? Success of the first game expanded into several sequels and spin-offs. Echo the Tides of Time continues the story of the original 1994, introducing time travel and new challenges. Echo Jr. followed in 95 as an educational game aimed at younger audiences, focusing on marine life and simpler gameplay. 2000... Continuing? Okay. 2000, Sega took the bold move and made Echo in 3D. Defender of the Future for Dreamcast and PS2. Unfortunately, a planned sequel, Echo 2, Sentinels of the Universe, was set for release in 2001, was canceled after the Dreamcast was deemed an eponymous failure. Now, Sega seems poised to bring back the series following their revival of other classic 90s franchise. That said, Sega has a string of remasters and reboots coming out this year. These include More Things from the Past, Lunar, Silver Star Story Complete, a remake of the 92 Sega CD game originally released for the Sega Saturn in 96 and later localized PlayStation in 99. Other notable releases are a reboot of Jet Set Radio, which we've heard about. So no more the spiritual successor in, I can't remember the game now because I didn't play it. I apologize. Virtua Fighter 5 Revo re-release, which looks really, really damn good, which is set to launch on Steam January 27th. What the trademark really means remains to be seen. There is certainly a community for an Echo the Dolphin game. Yes, that is very, very true. Honestly, never played Echo. I played the Genesis game, I believe, because my buddy, when I was a kid, had it on his Genesis, but very, very briefly. I, for whatever reason, just did not get into Echo the Dolphin. But I know it has a huge fan base, so that is kind of awesome. Once again, this has been a clip from the most recent live stream on Generally Nerdy. So that is the main channel. This is the secondary channel. I appreciate you tuning in here, liking, subscribing, doing all of the things. Don't forget to go over there because the content is different from channel to channel. It's not just smaller versions of the large things, though largely that is what it is. So I appreciate your faces, nerds. We will see you in the next live stream, hopefully. And then again, when the season starts properly in a few weeks, we will see you back then as well, and we'll do much more structured and much more informational and much more fun things, I would say. So that being said, I appreciate your faces. Thank you very much for tuning into this clip. Don't forget, once again, to like, subscribe, share, do all of the things. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.